very nurturing place, a place where we rest and recover, working in the deeper tissues of your body, calming down your central nervous system. And it's also a very meditative practice. And I would say, make your intention to make your shapes comfortable. Like sit on things, make it higher. It's almost like, let's, you know how you can take care of someone? Let's take care of ourselves tonight. Let's just really take this space and this hour to take care of ourselves. So let's come into a seated position and then just close your eyes, and we'll start from talking, from moving, from whatever this day has given you to total stillness. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. So a space of self-care, a space of self-nurturing. An hour for your body, your mind and your heart to align, to process and digest. On your mat there are no thoughts or there are no emotions that are not allowed. We can think what we think, we can feel what we feel. But we do practice that with mindfulness. So I almost kind of compare it to being two people on the mat. The one is feeling and thinking whatever it is thinking and feeling, and the other one is going, hey, that's an interesting thought, or I wasn't aware that I was feeling that. So you become your own observer. So can you now observe, or at least pay attention to your breath? Whatever your reason is to come to the mat tonight, whether that is for physical well-being, for mental well-being, for emotional healing, know that the breath calms down your central nervous system. So will have an effect that will calm you down. And when we start to calm down and when we start to lengthen and deepen our breath, our mind also starts to calm down. Our heart starts to soften. You might sometimes be surprised about certain thoughts or feelings that arise, which are in your subconscious presence. They're present, but we're not always aware of them. So we're not only working in the deeper tissues, physical tissues, we're also working into the deeper layers of your being. Please place the hands together in front of the heart, and that's just a gesture to greet each other. It can mean more, it can mean less. For me, it specifically is an acknowledgement of gratitude for practicing with you. And if you have a specific intention or dedication of this practice, bring it in mind now. And then bow your head humbly down towards your fingertips. We'll start with some pranayama, which is a simple block breath, just to bring some more awareness to our breath and to just be curious about what our breath can do. Block breath means we breathe in we'll do 4 counts to start with. Then we hold our breath for 4 counts. We breathe out for 4 and we hold at the bottom for 4. So let's first take a deep breath in and a sigh out. Soften your shoulders. Breathe in through the nose for 4, 3, 2. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2. Slowly exhale, nose or mouth. 4, 3, 2. At the bottom, Hold the breath, you're empty of air. 3, 2, one more round like that. You can close your eyes if you want. Inhale, 4, really feel the breath. 3, 2, fill up the lungs, hold them with fullness. Slowly exhale, empty the lungs. 4, 3, 2, empty lungs, hold, and notice maybe a little bit of pressure build. We extend that. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold the breath. 5, soften the skin on your face, soften your shoulders, keep holding the breath. Slowly exhale, nose or mouth. 5, slow it down. 4, 3, 2, hold the breath. Now you're empty with air. Soften the skin on the face, soften the tongue in the mouth. Last round, slowly in, fill up more, even more, fill up. Last little sip of air into the lungs, hold. Slowly release for 5, slow 4, exhale a little more. 3, exhale, exhale the last bit of air, hold. And then we breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2. Immediately breathe out, nose or mouth. And exhaling out of the mouth can give a bit of a surrender. Alright, let's move into child's pose. Keep that breathing going. So it can always help when you notice that you are distracted, that your mind starts to wander. Your breath is always there. So you can always come back to your breathing. In our meditation, we've spoken about meditation. Let it be directional this evening towards the breath. Let it just be, okay, if I stop paying attention to the breath, not a problem, no judgment. There's no wrong or rights on your mat. Just go, oops, let's breathe again. And counting the breath can really help. Let's stay here for another 2 minutes. Really just focusing on the breath. Slow breaths in, slow breaths out. Soften the skin on your face. Notice if you're maybe clenching your teeth. So in Yin, there's kind of 3 simple principles, and it's E, F, T. Nice and easy to remember. E is an edge. We find the edge, but it's a soft edge. It's not a 10 out of 10 pushy kind of edge. But there is sensations. We are searching for sensations and stimulations of your joints, of your muscles. The F stands for fiddling, but in non-fiddling, in finding stillness. And even catch yourself when you start to fiddle, when you start to pull on your nails or start to squeeze your fingers in the mat. Just notice it. Again, no judgment, no attachment. So the E stands for edge, the F for the F of non-fiddling or also stillness, and the T is allowing time to do its work. Got around 50 seconds, so stay with the breath. Sometimes in Yin we work in a specific meridian, sometimes we work into a specific part of the body. Today we will work into all the different kinds of the body. Just a general openness, in all the joints, all the spine. slowly, so we move slowly as if we are moving through honey. Come to a tabletop and then come lie down onto your belly for a Sphinx pose. If you have a bolster, you might want to bring it to the top of the mat. So let's not put it on fire. So Sphinx pose. You can look behind you, your feet are hip width apart. Now notice, just out of curiosity, some people, their heels roll in towards each other. Some people, the heels roll out. And then try to just have the toes pointing straight backwards. And then relax your buttocks. Sometimes I even think they're relaxed, but they're still kind of active. And the elbows come under the shoulders. So prop yourself up. You can use a blocks or pillows under your head. When we are halfway, I'll give you an option. I'm already going to show you that now. Remember, higher is not better. So you can always back up or go deeper. The option is to either go lower, which is to bring the elbows more forward. If it's too much for your lower back, we're also working into the kidneys. Or you can, when we're halfway, go a little higher. Remember, less is more. We'll stay here for 4 minutes. So I assume that you found your shape, that you found your props, that you've maybe had the chance to put something under your head. And then just close your eyes. Now, can you feel your toes? They're part of your body. They are behind you. Can you relax them? Maybe even activate the legs for a split second. Press the toenails into the floor. Wiggle them and then totally relax the knees to the floor. And then bring that relaxation up your thighs. And then on the next exhale, relax your buttocks. Even a sigh. Relax the belly. Breathe into the ribs of your rib cage. It is totally fine to have your eyes closed for the full practice. To go inside, notice what you notice, observe what you think, feel, or, what sensations do you feel in the body? What thoughts come up? What emotions? Can we relax your shoulders? Even though obviously they are slightly activated because you're holding up the upper body. And feel free to do some belly breathing here. So we're also combining this with different styles of breathing, different styles of pranayama. When you breathe into the belly and it softly presses into the floor, you're creating space to the front, but you're also creating space in the lower back with your breath. If at any stage you have a sharp pain, not a stretching pain, not a stretching discomfort, a sharp pain, move a little bit out. Everything is mindful, so even if we decide to move deeper or move less deep, what is your intention? What is the why? Is it because your ego thinks it's better? Is it because it will feel better? Or is less more? We are halfway. I feel that this is fine for me. So you can put something under your elbows. Do the minimal amount of movement. So specifically if you're here and you would drop all the way back to the floor and then you're kind of out of it again. So if you want to, you can place something under your elbows, blocks or a bolster. Soften the shoulders away from the ears and notice immediately if that was I don't want to say smart, because smart is the mind, is the intellect. If the sensations are still okay, if you can breathe, if you can smile. Maybe come back to the counting of the breath. One more minute in stillness. I'll let you know when it's time to move again. Soften your jaw. Take around 3 more rounds of breath here. Soften, bring the palms on top of each other like a pillow, and then bring your head onto the hands. Breathe, notice the rebound, notice the effect of that shape. Bring your hands under your shoulders, and then we come to a toe seat. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. For most people, this one is quite challenging. You might need a pillow or a block. So, toe seat. We've got a lot of nerve endings in the soles of the feet. That's why in yoga we practice bare feet. So you can bring your toes, big toes to touch. I manually like to spread my toes, so I take my hands and create a little bit of space between each toe. Maybe do it even twice. If you wear heels a lot, you're going to feel this even more. Knees in towards each other, bring the knees down to the floor. Now some of you might be able to sit straight on top of the heels. If that is too much, bring a pillow and maybe lean a little bit forward. You will feel quite a strong stretch in the sole of the feet. We'll just be here for 1 minute, not too long. And let's bring our right hand on top of our head and just slowly let the right ear drop towards the shoulder. We're not pulling with the hand. We're softly letting it rest. Almost as if it doesn't touch. If that's enough, stay. If you want a slight activation, you're reaching down with the left fingers. Again, this is not vinyasa. In vinyasa, we have super active hands, super active toes, super active muscles. Here there's a softness, the effortlessness. You might start to already feel the effect of the toe seat. Keep smiling, keep breathing. Feel free to close your eyes. Drop the right hand next to you and just slowly bring your head to center. This might be quite strong. Place your hands onto the floor and start to release those toes. I like to just softly tap the feet on the mat. Ooh, la 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 la. I know, wiggle your toes. Now we do the opposite. Interesting fact is that for some people, depending on how they're built, the next one is just as hard. So some people have quite a lot of stiffness here in the front of the foot, so we're actually going to point the toes backwards. I like to just place the heels right, I remove some flesh, right, like touching the sit bones. And then you bring your right hand onto the head and tilt, no, your left hand, excuse me, and tilt the left ear towards the left shoulder. If you want a little more, you reach the right fingers down to the floor. Close your eyes and breathe. Remember, you can use a pillow in between the bum and the sit bones. Go back to your breathing, and you can, if you want, your exhale can be longer than your inhale. That also calms down your central nervous system. So even if one day you're lying in bed and you can't sleep, go to your breath. Go to the breath. So you're practicing little easy breathing exercises. For example, a very nice one is to breathe in for 4 and breathe out for 7. Whenever you feel anxiety or fear or some distress or interruption, go to your breath and calm down the breath. You've got 2 more rounds of breath here. Nice. Slowly let the left hand come down, and then just see. I find this not so drastic. I find the other one way more impactful for my feet. Interesting is that you can sit like this while you Instagram or while you read a book. So just, you know, toe seat can make it a practice for every day. We are coming to our twists now. So bring you can start with your right leg. So you come onto the sides and you create, the right leg is coming to the side there. The toes, okay, so depending on how flexible you are, let me just first show you a little easier is to bring the leg a little bit more down. We are going to turn our upper body parallel to the front of the mat. So you can even lift yourself a little bit, scoop, 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 and then you can stay here facing the front of your mat. Before you close your eyes, I want to just quickly show you where you could go if you want to go deeper, because it takes a little while for your body to go, hey, I'm letting go. So I already, well, let's see where we go. Let's not preempt it, but you can go into your elbows, you can come down. After halfway, you can, if you want, add a thread the needle with your left arm, which will look, woof, it's gonna be hard for me, because it's not my favorite shape. It's gonna look something like that. Oh, not my favorite. But if you want to add it on, you can add it on. So find your shape. If you want more, bring the leg up. And now shimmy. You can even press the elbows in the floor, lift the hips a little. So you, in a quite a deep stretch, try twist. You can also place your head on the floor. We'll be here for 4 minutes, but after 2 minutes, I'll let you know, and then you can decide if you want to back off, if you want to do the twist. It's up to you. Close your eyes, lengthen the spine, and you might need to, after a couple of rounds of breath, do some subtle adjustments. You might have to move your block a little further. You'll see very quickly there's probably a little bit more space. Soften the toes. And then come back to your breath. You can already come all the way down if that feels very accessible and easy to you. Come back to the breath. You are halfway. Stay, come back onto the elbows, or maybe stretch the right arm in front, twist the left arm under. You can even look to the right side, so left ear. Some people like to put a block or a pillow under their heads here. So if that feels better for you, my blocks are very not so soft. Quite hard, the traditional ones, so I'm happy here. And then find stillness again. Soften your fingers. Harder to breathe here if you are doing the thread the needle. Slow down the breath. Quite a big twist. Creating space in the spine, also stimulating your organs, your digestion. Soften your shoulders. Around 5 more rounds of breath here. Deepen the breath, lengthen the breath. Slowly, 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 slowly curl all the way out. You can just come to your back, that's the easiest. So you bring your feet together, scoop the hips, and just lie on your back for a moment. Notice the difference between the right and the left side. You can place your hands on your belly. Ooh, actually this is quite a nice one. If you have something heavy, a block or a book, place them on your tummy. It might be too risky to stack them, but maybe one is enough. And then we're going to breathe the block up and down, or your book, or whatever. So you really breathe, and you want your block to go up towards the sky. As high as you can in a soft way. Slow, and then slowly let go. And let the block, the weight of the block, softly press into your tummy, into your intestines. 5 more breaths like that. Nice and slow in your own time. Belly breathing. Very good to calm down your central nervous system. Give your organs some space. Feel free to exhale out of the mouth. 2 more rounds. From there, remove the blocks, put them to the side. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Roll to the side, and we'll immediately do the other side. You can just stay at the top of your mat. I don't have space because of the wall, so I'm going to come to this side. So it's your, like originally, like if you do vinyasa, you could even say it's like a falling triangle. It's almost like a falling triangle. L shape in the legs. Remember, you can decide yourself where you want that left leg to be. And then you might just want to take some time here to press into the hands, lift your buttocks, check the back foot, and then start here. This is where you start the twist. So from being in the direction, you start to bring your upper body more in the direction of the small edge of your mat. Let's take another breath here. So your option is to stay or to come down into the elbows, maybe for a couple of rounds of breath. If you feel that you're very spacious. Now, the interesting thing is our mind tricks us. Our mind goes, oh, we've done that on the other side, let's do exactly the same. Specifically in twists, we have more space, often we have more space on the one side compared to the other. So rather than letting your mind determine where you're going, because now you know where you're going, let it be from a space of feeling. So every time, every breath, you feel, you decide, you notice an edge maybe, you commit to that stillness. And maybe on this side you're going to stay up. Maybe you're not going to go down. Maybe you're not going to twist. Also accepting that. This is a nurturing practice. It's not a doing practice. It's practicing being. Being in the shape. Calm mindset. Deep, slow breathing. Close your eyes if they're open. Notice if you're clenching your teeth. Let there be some space. You can even bring the tongue, the top of your tongue, the tip of your tongue, and just kind of rub the back of your teeth. Feel, notice the movement in your mouth. Swallow a couple of times. And then let the bottom jaw fall away from the top jaw. Come back to your breathing. Totally fine in yin to breathe into the nose and breathe out of the mouth. We are halfway. Why are you moving if you are moving? Is it because the mind wants to do so? You can test it. I'm definitely less spacious on this side. Okay, soften. One more minute. Very nice, Paul. Awesome vessel. That's it, Nadia. Soft breathing. You might also feel it on the outside of the left leg, your left T-band. We've got another 4 rounds of breath. Also notice where you feel what. Interesting. The T-band for me only started to really speak, if it can speak. I don't know if it's called speaking, but it became present in its sensation quite late. Interesting. Shifts, the quality of the sensation shifts. One more deep breath in and just move slow and gentle. Just move slow and gently. And then come back onto your back again. Both feet together. If it's too much for your lower back to have the legs extended, you can also have the knees knock in towards each other. Your body is constantly talking to you, giving you messages. And also in yin, we learn to listen. Take 3 more rounds of breath. If you want to practice that belly breathing, you can obviously put a block on the belly again, or just your hands. And then guide. It's a directional breathing. Specifically, bring the breath towards your hands, towards the tummy. Next shape is supported bridge pose. Some of you that have been practicing yin for a while with me now, you probably notice we do it quite often. I really like it, and it's so good for you. So you can use a block, a book, a pillow under the sacrum, and it doesn't have to be high. This is enough. There's a relaxation of your psoas. You're a little bit inverted, but if you wanted to, you can put a block on different heights. Obviously, with your blocks, it's also easier to change. Maybe 2 blocks on top of each other. Medium height, highest height. Go somewhere where you can relax. And then walk the feet on the spot. Notice if you can feel the balls of your big toes in the floor. So all the 4 corners of your feet are flat. The knees are right above the ankles. It's a little hard to see or feel, but I'll check now, and I can always just try to give you a cue. And then you can choose to have the palms facing up next to the body, or have a bit of an armpit stretch where you bring the hands overhead. You can also interlace your, hold on to the opposite elbow above your head. Yeah. Yeah, nice. That looks good. Awesome, Paul. Looks good to Wessel as well. Very nice. Your feet are well positioned. Let's stay here for 4 minutes as well. I'll let you know when we're halfway. So you can choose to go lower, higher, or stay where you are. Where do you feel what? Sometimes even tingling sensations. Maybe new sensations. And some shapes come very easy to us. Other shapes are more challenging. Depends on where in the body, what tissue is mostly stretched, what tissue is holding on tension in the body, which can be linked to the job that you have. If you sit a lot, if your job is very asymmetrical. For example, if you think of a hairdresser that is a very asymmetrical job, they might have more tension on one side of the body compared to the other. All these things are adding on to whatever you're experiencing now. If you feel tension anywhere, can you bring some softness into that area, specifically, excuse me, on the exhale. Just surrender, be soft. We are halfway, actually already over halfway. You can stay, you can go lower, you can go higher, you can change the arms, or just go, you know what, I'm in a perfect place. This feels pretty good. You're inverted, your organs are getting a little bit of an opportunity to breathe, to stretch. Come back to your breath. Let your pelvis be heavy on whatever you're lying on. Let the weight of your pelvis be supported by your prop. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Ah, nice. Slight activation of the feet. Oh, it's almost hard to activate the body, for me at least. And then vertebra by vertebra, take as long as you need. Top part of the spine rolls and presses softly into the floor. Middle part of the spine, so you're curling the spine in the opposite direction. Lower part, get to know each little vertebra, and then let the pelvis rest into the floor. Knees knock in towards each other for all of us, and then place your hands somewhere comfortable, and we take 5 rounds of breath here. Feel the post effect of your shake. Slowly, gently bring the knees a little closer into the chest. Take your time. Just feel what it does to the body. You can squeeze the knees a little in. That lengthens the lower back. And then roll to a side. And from the side, come back up to a seated position. Shoelace. Shoelace is not for everyone. So shoelace depends really on how open your hips are. I'm obviously going to give you different options. Have your props ready and close by. I'll start with full shoelace, and then you can just see if that's accessible. If not, just take steps back, you know. We're not forcing anything here. So if you want to do full shoelace, which is actually shoelace in yin, is the same as cow face in vinyasa. So you can come onto your knees and bring the right knee. I'll mirror you. Bring the right knee in front of the left, and then you bring the feet a little to the side. So my feet are here to the side. I know I can sit down, so maybe just first see if this is what you need to do. I can sit down and it's not a problem, but I'm half Indonesian. If you might need to put a pillow, 2 pillows, 3 pillows, you might even need blocks and a pillow under your butt. So the way to know if you're in the right position is that both sit bones are equally into the floor. So if you feel skew or you feel tension, a lot of pain, then just go higher. If that is not accessible to you, there's also half shoelace. You bring your left foot in front, same here as well. You can also, in half shoelace, place something under your buttocks. So I'll just give you some time to figure out what works best for you. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. It's quite a big stretch, this one. So your right knee is on top, so it's right knee is on top for you, so the left one is under. So then I like to place that left hand, so it's almost like 1, 2, so it's left, right, left, right. Just sit still for a moment, and then lean a little bit backwards, but softly, without forcing, press your knees away, really gently. So you'll notice that when you sit more backwards, when you roll and ground the sit bones, the knees come up. Just a tiny bit, maybe a lot. So see if you can create space and lengthen the spine. We'll stay here for 3 minutes, but I'll give you an option again. Later. Not 4. 3. Edit. Check, check, check. 3. Doesn't want to do 3. I'll remember. I'll remember. So for a minute, just sit still. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Fill up the lungs, expand, feel the expansion of the ribs, of the rib cage. Can you sit a little bit taller with every inhale? Without too much effort, and then soften on each exhale. Options are to stay or to come forward for another minute. Maybe you can place your head on something. Find the edge, commit to non-fiddling, to stillness, and then just let time do its work. Come to the breath when you feel that things are, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally, a little bit distracting, frustrating, whatever. Come back to the breath. You might be triggered for whatever reason. You might be triggered because you're stretching into deep tissues. Whether you like the shape or not, doesn't really matter. Often when we feel it quite strongly means that we need it. Slowly roll up. For the last minute, we add on a side stretch. You can place your arm on a block, so it is to your left arm is going to come up. It's not very stable. Yes. And then you can just let the arm rest here. Notice if your left sit bone is lifted. Draw that left sit bone down into the floor. Ooh la 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 la. Lots of sensations there. Take 4 more rounds of breath. Drop the left hand back down to the thigh. Come up. Now we'll need to come out. And the easiest, or I find the easiest way to come out, except if your leg is extended. If your leg is extended, you can just unroll. Otherwise, I like to just lift up, lift up, lift up, crawl forward, and then just unhook those feet. Come to a kneeling position and just sit still. You can again place something in between your heels and buttocks if that's better for you. 4 rounds of breath here. And then we'll set ourselves up for the other sides. Your left knee in front of the right. I don't know why, but for me it feels like mermaid, like a mermaid, as if I've got like a mermaid tail. The feet come out to the side. Be surprised, you might go, hey, this is totally more spacious or less spacious. No judgment, no attachment. Remember, you've got all the props. They're your best friends. They're your friends. They are making this a kind practice rather than a forcing practice. For you, it's right, left, and then soften, lean a little bit backwards. Come back to your breath. Can you slow down the breath even more? Maybe you can even breathe in for 6 and breathe out for 8. Again, without forcing. There's this perfect, lovely balance between effort and effortlessness. On the exhale, I sometimes imagine that my skin is kind of liquid and it's just running down. My bones are soft. Visualize soft things, pillows, cotton, soft sand, and translate that softness into your being, into your muscles, into your heart, into all the different layers of your being. And it's easiest on the exhale to just soften. Slowly come forward with the props if you need them for a minute to just notice the difference there. Soften your shoulders and your neck. And then we add on for the last minute that side stretch. Take your time. So you'll notice that as soon as you place that left elbow somewhere, might also put your fingers if it's too low to place it onto the blocks or the floor. You can also just place your fingertips, it's also fine. You'll start to notice that when you do that, that probably your right sit bone starts to lift a little. So ground through the right sit bone and then find that length in the side of the body. Three more rounds of breath. Slowly come up. Yeah. Oh, la 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 la. Come out slowly and safely. Just notice if you're warm enough for Shavasana. So we're now just either coming to Shavasana, which can be on your belly. So Shavasana is not a shape. Shavasana is a state. It's a state of letting go. If you can let go by lying on your side, by lying on your tummy, that's fine, by bringing the legs up the wall. So Shavasana is a state of letting go. Wherever you want to be, maybe put some socks on. And I'm already going to just preempt that I really don't mind if you stay in Shavasana longer. I'm going to give you, because this whole practice is quite soft, I'm going to give us 4 minutes in Shavasana, but really don't feel obliged at all to say goodbye. If you are in a lovely space and you're like, you can kind of say bye now, or just with your minds go, bye Joëlle, bye people, and just stay. It's also nice to switch off the light, to maybe put something over your eyes. Make it as comfortable and nurturing as possible. No more need to pay attention to the breath even, no more need to count the breath, just to be still. So if you are in a really nice space, as I said before, feel free to just stay. This is also a lovely time to maybe meditate or journal. If you feel ready to move, start with little small movements of your fingers and your toes. Feel free to keep your eyes closed for now. And then maybe bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a lovely hug. Notice how nice the body feels. And then pick a side and just lie there for a moment. In fetus pose. Knees into the chest. It feels so safe. Curl up like a little ball. And from there you can come up to a seated position. Close your eyes. Is there something that you cultivated tonight on your mat that was nurturing, that was needed? An awareness of your breath, a sense of self-care, a sense of calmness. Take it off your mat into the rest of your evening. Let's close our practice again with palms in front of the heart. Grateful for a healthy body, a healthy mind, and an open heart. Thank you for practicing with me tonight. Namaste.